Welcome on Facebook Live. Welcome on our live go-to meeting webinar here. I am your host, Israel Allen, Director of Education for the PTA Global. And as we have many people joining on today's call, we had hundreds of people sign in from around the globe today, different time zones. We'll give another minute to 2 minutes as they trickle in. Welcome, Theo. Welcome, Zane. Welcome, Tamara. Rowan, how are you doing? Michael and Melanie, welcome. Pleasure to have y'all. So very, very excited in this third series today, team, of driving PT results during the toughest of times. And we definitely are in the toughest of times. So everyone on the call can empathize with this, whether you are a personal trainer, whether you are a manager, whether you're an owner and operator. We definitely understand that these are the toughest of times. And so we want to make sure that we can honor our time today and get very specific in what we're going to accomplish. And so, again, if you're joining us on Facebook Live, you can check on our feed and get the direct link to log in to this live webinar. If you're joining us today in a live webinar, welcome. Again, as we have several people continuing to trickle in, Lourdes and Lori, welcome, welcome. Attached to this webinar, the invite to this webinar, there are handouts. There are handouts to get both your exercise and stress management course for free, and then we will provide a promo code to that following the webinar, and you will receive an email from that, okay? And that'll have your promo code to register and how to register, and that's basically how you'll get your CECs, is you'll take that exercise and stress management course, and then you will get your continuing education credits that you can apply to whoever, NASM or PTA Global or AFA or ACE. And so that's basically kind of the run of show. Also, if this is your first time to go to webinar, there is a little chat box at the bottom, and I'll be fielding questions at the end. So I want to make sure that, again, if you're on Facebook Live joining us, you won't have the opportunity to do this, but if you're in GoToWebinar right now, you can start typing in your questions, and I will basically try to address as many of those as I can in today's time. And I'll kind of prioritize those first come, first serve. All right. So again, you know, today's topic is very relevant. It's very, you know, specific to the things that are on our hearts and minds right now, as we are talking about, you know, how do I get results in this state of union? You know, gyms are closed. Many trainers are unemployed or furloughed. How do I continue to get results from clients? And then what do I do that's different today in my programs than maybe what I did a month ago, right? And so we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the specific impacts of stress on the body, right? So you have a good understanding of the correlation between stress, right, immunity, and then ding, 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 the easy correlation between if I can sustain immunity, improve immunity, right, then my odds are a lot less of getting, whether it's the common cold or COVID, et cetera, et cetera. But right now, the biggest challenge in our country is not COVID. It is the impact on the economy and the impact on the physiology in human beings from the level of stress that they're carrying, the level of stress in either wondering what's going to happen tomorrow or worrying about things that they can't control today. Okay, so it starts with the head, trickles into the body. So we'll talk about this a little bit. We'll also talk about some creative alternatives that are happening right now in the industry. Okay, so again, if you're on this call and you're like, man, so-and-so needs to be on this call, feel free to forward the invite. If you're on this call and someone else can't make it, we'll have one more of these series next Friday at the exact same time, live. Okay, so again, if you weren't able to make it, if you have someone that wasn't able to make it, they can join us next Friday live. We'll be doing our last segment in this, and then we've got multiple webinars coming out as well on similar topics, but also very relevant. Okay, so hopefully that helps us as far as to set kind of some context on what we're going to dive into today. So today's objectives, okay? We're going to talk about stress and its effects on society and the body. We're going to talk about the tool that can be a game changer in your business, our daily readiness observation. Daily readiness observation. We're also going to talk about strategies and techniques to optimize stress management. Okay, so what does that look like? Okay, what does that look like? And then at the end of the day, we're talking about, okay, how do I meet the client where they need to be met? Okay, because right now we have a lot of people that are overstressed, very worried, and how do I get them motivated when working out may be the last thing on their mind? Continuing their personal training program may be the last thing on their mind. How do I change the language in their head? How do I help them? What do I have now that I didn't have a month ago that can absolutely add value and re-engage my members, re-engage my clients, and re-engage my team? If you're a fitness manager, or if you're an owner and operator on here, the tools and tactics that we're going to go through are very applicable for you. So let's talk about cortisol, right? Cortisol kind of gets the bad rap, right? The funny thing about cortisol, it's very necessary, right? Like you need cortisol for things like, I don't know, heart rate. That's kind of important. Metabolism, to be able to think clearly and use kind of the executive brain functions to balance out kind of homeostasis, right? And regulation of the body, kind of hot and cold. And so very, very important is the hormone of cortisol, right? But what we're going to dive into is the overuse of cortisol via chronic stress, okay? And so you can look at, there's a myriad of impacts to the body of repercussions of the body when you have chronic stress over time and you're not able to get rid of that stress in a way that it's not just going for a run, it's not just going for a workout. There is a specific way to attach motion to emotion and vice versa. There's a specific way to attach emotion to motion, right? Because we know that motion drives emotion and emotion drives motion, right? And so if I'm in a very stressful state, that's going to impact the way my body moves. And the way that my body moves is going to impact the quality or the byproduct of that following exercise. And vis-a-vis, right? If I am in a kind of a negative mindset, right? Not only do I not want to move, but when I actually encounter movement, right? It's not going to allow the quality of movement to be very good, and thus I can get injured. I can actually take 2 steps forward as opposed to 1 step back as far as it relates to my results, my immune function, so on and so on. So what I want to dive into today specifically, because it's the most relevant topic, is immunity, okay? When we talk about immune function, we have to understand the body as a whole, right? So we're billions of cells, and as part of that DNA sequence and chromosomal sequence, we need to have replication, right? So cells need to be reproduced every single day. Well, what happens, if you're on Google, you could Google, right? So you could do a little Google search on here and type in the word telomere, all right? Telomere. And so basically, with an increased shortening of telomeres, right, that's going to slow down or impede, right, cell reproduction in every level. On a white blood cell level, on a red blood cell level, on a tissue level, systemic level, organismal level, right? On every single level that cells have to reproduce and repair, it's going to impact that. So chronic stress, as we know, chronic stress is going to impact, right, basically the telomeres, role in that DNA sequence and being able to reproduce on a cellular level. Okay, so that's really, really important for us to know and understand, because that can show up in a lot of different ways. Let's talk about that more in exercise. Very relevant topic, whether you're a trainer on the call, it doesn't matter if you're at a corporate club, you're an individual trainer, you're an owner and operator. It's so important for us to be educated and empowered, because we cannot give what we don't have. We cannot teach what we don't know. And so even if you think, man, it's been a while for me, it's been a while since this whole science thing, it's okay. We're not going to talk above your head. We're going to take this really simple, very practical. So think about a training stimulus. Okay, our training stimulus, you call it, right? Maybe it's a HIIT workout. Maybe it's a long, slow distance run, plug and play. Maybe it's a heavy set of deadlifts, right? Maybe you like to pick heavy stuff up and put it back down if you're like me. So whatever that training stimulus is, we understand that there is going to be, right, a breakdown physiologically of the body, because that is what happens when we work out. Cortisol spikes, tissues break down, right? Immune system also breaks down, Okay, everything lowers during that period. Then we have a recovery period that should happen, right? And we've got that excess post-oxygen consumption window, right? That we talk about repairing oxygen debt. We're not going to talk about the physiology as much as we're going to talk about what should happen, what should be present, that hour to hour and a half window. Okay, so as we're trying to repair and recover both immune function, right, as well as on a tissue level, we rebuild lean body mass, we're breaking down fat mass. All of these things to prevent us from getting in plateaus or basically going backwards. There should be things that happen very specifically during that window of time. So we've got an hour to hour and a half window of time, depending on the level of intensity of a workout, depending on the level of duration of a workout. That hour to hour and a half window is a really important sweet spot. So whether you're taking your .fit aminos, right? And again, if you're looking for ways to basically supplement your nutrition, your supplementation within that hour and a half window, or your clients to be able to boost their immune function and support, more importantly, support their immune function during that time, right? Then you want to make sure they have the right types of nutrition within there. So there's part of it. The other part of it is, what are they doing post-workout, right? So if they're skipping, right, tissue work, right? I got my little quad baller here from our friends at Trigger Point, and they're skipping tissue work. We know that that's going to trigger parasympathetic activity, which is what we want post-workout, because our body is in a more sympathetic state, or kind of a fight or flight state, right? Whether it's all the pre-workout that you took, or it's just literally the amount of stress that we've been under combined with the stress of working out. We want to enter that parasympathetic state, right, which is going to aid in that repair, recovery, regeneration, okay? And so even things like vitamin C post-workout, within that window, we know vitamin C blocks cortisol, and so that can actually be beneficial to introduce any of your antioxidants, your A, C, or E, your ACE, or your kind of key antioxidants. But again, if you want to know more about that, .fit is absolutely the place to go for nutrition and supplementation. But I just want to talk about some strategies that you can do to both educate and empower yourself and your clients to get the very best results through stressful times. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about our buckets, right? Our typical buckets of stress, our physical bucket, our sleep. How are we sleeping? Is anyone tossing and turning a little bit nowadays? I hear you. Nutrition and hydration. Is anyone else on the all seafood diet, where you're eating all the food you see? Okay, all right. So now we're in the safe room, right? Where we're in the circle of trust. Mental and emotional stress, right? Are you worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow? Where's that next paycheck coming? What are you going to do with that, that little baby stimulus check that you're going to get? Like, how long is that going to last? Whatever those thoughts and worries, maybe it's worried about your friends, your family, the safety of our economy and society, right? Maybe it's the health of a loved one. So all of those things, they start in the head. And if we don't do something about it to, again, lower chronic stress, then we know that the impact is going to show up not only in our workouts, but in the way that we should be able to get results post-workout. So how do we know what buckets are full? How do we quantify that? And what the heck do we do? What do we do? So again, if you're just joining or you joined a little late, you can start typing in your questions in the question box, and I will field those at the end of today's call, and it kind of be first come, first serve. And then again, following today's call, you'll receive a promo code for our exercise and stress management course. It's a 10-hour course. Once you complete that course, you'll get a certificate. That certificate is basically your Willy Wonka golden ticket to submit to NESM or PTAG Global or whoever to basically renew your certification. So that's kind of how that process will work. So our daily readiness observation is the tool in your tool belt that we're going to focus on. This is how we not only classify stress by key buckets, but we also quantify on a scale of 1 to 3 per each bucket. So as you can see at the top here, okay, all negative answers in these 3 kind of questions are going to lead to a score of 3. All positive answers, right, thumbs up, are going to lead to a score of 1. So again, the best score you can get per bucket is 1. The worst score you can get per bucket is 3. That's right. You're all on mute, but I know you said 3. So bucket number 2, right? Sorry, going back to bucket number 1 is lifestyle. Okay, so we're going to talk about lifestyle. Bucket number 2 is on physical. Okay, again, we're going to score that 1 to 3. And then we're going to skip the move observation in the essence of time today. We'll build on that on future segments, but today we're going to focus on bucket number 3, okay, which is going to be mental and emotional, which is really, I would say, in many cases is going to be typically either medium or kind of high as far as the score, either a 2 or 3 in most people. But again, you don't know, you can't guess, you got to assess. You're either assessing or you're guessing. So let's dive into it. So when we look at the bucket score, you're going to look at these questions, right? So step 1, lifestyle bucket, question 1. How many hours of sleep did you get last night? I actually had a great sleep last night. I got a good solid like 8 hours. Please don't dismiss the importance of sleep. Sleep is where we regulate, specifically in deep sleep or REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. Our dream sleep is when we regulate and balance out hormones. It's very important. And again, if you're a night owl, understanding circadian rhythms and what happens between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. and what happens between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. is really important for you to understand on what in the body is getting repaired. Is it physical or mental? So again, the quality of sleep, the duration of the sleep, we want to score that, okay? So a score of 1 would be what? 8 hours solid, right? Dream sleep, awesome. 3, I'm tossing and turning. So the night before last, I got a good strong 2.5 hours, gang. I just couldn't sleep. And then the way that my brain works from my trainer days, I've been in this industry for about 20 years, started as a personal trainer, is I get up really early. So I'm up at about 4 a.m. Central Standard Time here in Dallas. And so I went to bed later than I typically do. I was super excited about some upcoming events. But again, I didn't sleep well. And then I'm up, how I normally am, right? Like a 7-year-old. Doesn't matter if I go to bed at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. I'm up at 7 a.m. like a 2-year-old, right? So I'm up super early at 4 to 5 a.m. regardless of a lot of times what time I go to bed. So I would have given myself a score of 3 if you would have done this, if you would ask me the same question yesterday morning. But this morning, I'm going to give myself a score of 1. So you're right. You're going to do this daily because daily it's going to change because life and habits change, right? So the second question in step number 1 is, when did you eat last? Okay, and what did you eat? How has your water intake been? So again, you're the experts here. So you're going to know, okay, we need to be eating a certain amount of meals. Okay, are those meals of good quality? Hydration, how's the hydration? Are you doing 8 ounces a day or are you doing 128 ounces a day? And so you're going to have to discern that. And some of this is subjective, but you're going to have to give it an associated score with that. So again, that's going to change day to day. Yesterday, I ate fantastic. I would have given myself a score of 1. Today, I'd give myself a score of 2. The quality of foods, I've got my .fit protein shakes and I got my .fit aminos, but I haven't had near as many calories as I probably need because I burn probably upwards of 3,000 to 3,500 a day. I've consumed maybe 750, right? So I'm going to give myself a lower score today because I haven't had enough food, right? So again, that can be just as detrimental as having way too much, okay? So the third question here in step 1 is going to be, after this session, what's the most important thing you're going to do today? So are you going for a workout? Or are you just going to watch Tiger King for the next 3 episodes and just chill? Now, that may stress some of you out, so you may give that a score of 3. But either way, if it's a pretty relaxing day for you, then maybe you give yourself a 1 or 2 if there's maybe some other strenuous things that you have to endure. A long day of work, right? That can be, a lifestyle impact, right? And so you're basically going to find the aggregate score. So if you gave yourself maybe a 1, a 2, and then a 3, your average score, or what's called your bucket score, is going to be a 2. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so let's shoot into bucket number 2, which is physical. What physical activity have you engaged in over the past 24 hours, right? So again, if it's a strenuous physical activity, right, I'm going to give myself closer to a 3. If it's very little physical activity, right, I may give myself a 2 or 3 as well if I've been completely sedentary. But if I've been fairly active and walking several times a day like we should be doing at minimal, then maybe I'm going to give myself a 1. So again, you're going to have to score that for you and your clients, okay? Would you say you're in pain today? And I feel great today. Yesterday, I had a little bit of tightness in my knee just because I've been running more than I ever have. Again, I'm not a runner, but, hey, man, when you lack equipment and going gets tough, the tough gets going. And so I've been running more than I have. So again, I'm going to give myself a score there, either 1, 2, or 3. And then, are you feeling fatigued, tired, tight, or sore? And I feel fantastic today, so I'm going to give myself a 1. So my aggregate score there, I'd say, is between a 1 and a 2. And team, just so you know, if it's like, oh, well, you scored a 2 and then you scored 2 1s, well, what I do with that? Round up. Okay, if you got a 1.5, round up. Okay, you got like 1.25, okay, you can round down. But when in doubt, round up, all right, because there probably is some low-hanging fruit there. All right, so step 4, bucket 3, is going to be our mental and emotional bucket. And again, this is probably going to be the most full bucket. So again, how do I quantify this? Okay, score of 1 to 3. 1 would be fantastic. 3 would be, I'm ready to take a nap for the rest of the day, buddy, right? I just cannot handle this. And so how would you describe your emotional state at the moment? Score of 1, 2, or 3. 1 being great, 3 being poor. What's your level of motivation, right? So your readiness, your ability to get out and feel charged and energetic. And you may want to put an action or emotion associated to these numbers, because sometimes people will struggle with grasping, well, I'm not exactly sure. And so you want to say, well, what's your level of motivation? 1, feeling like you'd run through a brick wall, and 3, being like, all you want to do right now is take a nap. And they're like, well, probably a 2. Okay, cool. So now you're able to glean a better score from that just by attaching an action or an emotion to that number, okay? Hopefully that's helpful in your delivery of this tool, because the tool is just the tool, but the delivery and how you're using it is really, really important. Last question in this series is going to be, do you feel mentally ready to begin? Okay, again, score of 1, you're ready to run through a brick wall. Score 3, you're ready to sit kumbaya and sing love songs for the rest of the day because you don't want to move. I don't know, right? You got to figure it out, have some fun with it, but make sure that it's a relevant association for your clients. All right, so now we're going to total these up, the 3 buckets, right? And we're going to get a score of anywhere between 3 and 9. 3 is a perfect score. 9 is the exact opposite of that, okay? And so now I need to match the exercise of the day with the person's score. How do I do that? I'm going to recap the buckets and look at which buckets are the most full. Is it lifestyle bucket? Was it physical bucket? Was it mental and emotional bucket? Okay. The one thing that we need to remember about this is when you're able to provide value, someone was sore when they came in and now they're not sore. Someone was tired when they came in and now they're recharged. Someone was feeling super stressed and you did a series of play and games. If you tuned into our webinar last Tuesday with Ian O'Dwyer, we talked about all of those things that were related to stress management and how the introduction of play and understanding the physiology of that really, really helps to build a bond and a bridge between good hormones, right, and good behaviors and exercise. Okay, so if you didn't get a chance to tune into that, we'll be reposting that next week. You could also check it out on our YouTube channel. We've got a series of exercises around play. So you go to YouTube, PTA Global, type in exercises there, and we've got a series of exercises that'll help you through that process. But here's where I want to lead you to, okay? So we talk about driving results. We're also talking about driving financial results, okay? So when you make a difference in someone's life instantaneously, right, it's going to lead to a, oh my gosh, I wasn't going to continue personal training and now I am. It's going to lead to that thought process. It's going to lead to a, oh my gosh, I didn't think I was going to like this orientation, this session, or this time with a trainer, but I freaking love this. This is the most fun thing I've ever done. I feel like a kid again. Again, instant value equals instant sales. Renewals, right? If someone's on the line and they're not quite sure if money's tight and they don't know if they're going to renew, and all of a sudden you're rocking their world with better workouts infused by data because you've got a clear score of 3 to 9 and you're measuring that and adjusting their workouts, your stock just increased significantly. Your credibility just increased significantly, right? And that's so important in your relational equity and trust with customers. And trust is everything, Dave. Trust is everything. So when you're building that trust and that credibility, why would they want to quit you? They can't do that on their own, right? And so utilizing this tool for renewals, and then ding, 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 you guessed it, referrals, right? Hey, I don't know, I trained with Israel, but he did this whole stress score thing, and my stress level is supposed to help to boost my immune function, and that's supposed to help me to get better results. But I don't know a lot of the science behind it, but I know I'm trying to get down to a 3. I'm an 8 right now, but he's got these things that every week we're getting better, And the funny thing is, the scale has started to move. Hey, Marcy, right? Marcy, the neighbor, right? You should go check out Israel because he's offering this whole 10-minute free stress score thing. You should go talk to him, right? People want to refer other people when they feel like there's value and the person isn't just going to be like headlocked or sold, right? Because they want to help that person. But like, people are good people. So they want to help other people to figure out, okay, what's your stress level and how can we help your immune function? Because I don't want you getting a cold or COVID or, you know, having, you know, all this stress and anxiety either. So now you're basically developing walking billboards, right, for your brand, and those create referrals. That's driving the business. That's called working smarter and not just harder. Okay, but you got to do something different. You got to think different, act different in order to be different. Okay. All right. So let's jump into this. Again, to recap, scale of score of 1 to 3. Okay, we're going to do that in each of the buckets. Then we're going to have a total score of 3 to 9. So now what do we do, Israel, with this? Okay, if I'm a 4 to 6 or a 7 to 9, what do I do, man? All right, I'm glad you asked. Great question, audience. So a 3 to 9, we're going to go hard. We're going to go intense. No real changes needed, right? 4 to 6, a score of 4 to 6, we're going to go moderate. Okay, and I'm going to talk to you about what that means. And then 7 to 9, we're definitely going to look at more recovery and regen. And I'm going to talk to you about that as well. Not just things like the trigger point quad roller intermittently, but a lot deeper than that. Okay. All right, so I'll give you a quick example here. This isn't my exact example, but this is an example for you to follow. Okay. So let's just say you went through the score. They got a 2, a 3, and another 2, a total score of 7. Okay. So now what we're going to look at is we're going to look at goal-based movement. Goal-based movement. So again, I'm going to keep in mind that at PTA Global, we have 4 goals. Okay, so you can find these in our fast track course. You can find these in our CPT course. You can find these in our behavior change and exercise course. Okay, so even though you're going to get the exercise and stress management course after this webinar, okay, definitely want to tune into those 3 because those really dive into things like MoStyle, things like behavior change, right? As well as the goal-based movement and tools like the PDQ or the Program Design Questionnaire that allow you to effectively assess and get real answers to the test for your clients so that you can know before you go. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep those courses in mind for you. So things like, okay, my 4 goals in PTA Global are going to be weight loss, sports performance, lean body mass gain, and wellness. So let's say I'm trying to lose weight, which is most of the most of the people that you're probably encountering in some way, shape, and form. And now I'm going to basically say, okay, I still want to track with the same acute variables, the sets, the reps, the tempo, the rest, within a framework that's going to support weight loss, right? We're not just going to go completely off of our volume and our sets and things like that, because we know that the SAID principle, specific adaptation to imposed demand, if we're too far off the charts on those things, I'm not going to be able to accomplish the goal. And team, regardless of whether the state of mind is positive or negative with your clients right now, the goal is still going to be the goal. Even after COVID, their goals are still going to be their goals. Now, if their goal was lose 3% body fat, that's probably not as important and as pressing to them right now as how do I stay healthy and happy when I don't know if I'm going to have a job tomorrow, right? The whole 3% body fat doesn't necessarily like scratch the itch, right? It's much more relevant to their state of mind, their happiness, their health, the keeping them active, keeping them healthy, right? Very important so they don't get sick or anything worse. So some basic things that we call our bang for our buck. Bang for our buck. So these are going to be things that you can do that address each of the buckets, right? Your lifestyle, your mental, emotional, and your physical. And it's kind of like a, one size fits all approach. So if I want to take, let's say, a score of 7, and I'm not exactly sure what bucket is full, by just lowering intensity from, let's say, my typical 90% intensity or RPE of scale of 1 to 10, you're at a 9. And now I take that down to a 7. Can they still get results? Of course they can. And a lot better results than if they had never gone through that workout because they weren't motivated or because they were sick. Yeah, I'll take the 70% any day, right? So I'm going to adjust that intensity. The volume. So maybe you typically do 4 to 5 sets, right? and you're doing, 4 to 5 different exercises, right? Your goal is to improve lean body mass, right? Hypertrophy. Can you still accomplish that same goal with fewer exercises or fewer sets? Absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. Recovery and regen. Now, if your typical, line in the sand is 45 seconds to 1:15 rest, Israel, because anything outside of that gets weird and I start shifting goals. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Okay. And I'm not saying take 5 minutes rest in between set, right? And update your Facebook status. What I am saying is give them 2 minutes instead of a minute. Give them 1.5 minutes instead of a minute. Adjust the rest, right? They probably need it. Recovery and regen. Maybe in between each, in between each round, right? Let's say from our chest press, and then maybe you're going to go into a seated row, a dumbbell seated row or something. Maybe we typically give them 30 seconds to transition. And now maybe you give them 2 minutes, but in between we do active rest, right? We're going to do some fun games, or we're going to do some self-myofascial release, some tissue work in between. We never have true rest. It always should be kind of active type rest in most cases, right? Because time is money. And if you're doing 30-minute workouts or 45-minute workouts and you still got to get the volume in, you really want to be careful about what you're doing during those rest intervals anyway. But again, just slide in some additional tissue work in within that rest and recovery. Maybe it's time under tension. Maybe you're just going to focus on technique on today's workout and really focus on a slow and controlled motion, right? While you're contracting that bicep the entire way down and the entire way up, because you haven't done that in a long time. So we're just going to focus on more of the technique and the time under tension. Okay, because that can be another strategy specifically for the physical bucket, right? If we have that full. So hopefully that helps kind of get your wheel spinning as far as how to assess using the DRO from a score of 3 to 9, and then what things to do if that person is at either a 4 to 6 or 7 to 9. Okay, what strategies do I do to basically manipulate my program design to make sure that that person isn't going to stay stressed, that they're going to enter, again, more healthier, happier kind of recovery and regen state. Now, if you're anything like me, you like to track things over time, so it's not like flash in a pan. So again, the analogy that I used before is, you may want to take this on a Monday. You may want to do it again on a Tuesday or Wednesday, because my stress level is going to a lot of times change from day to day. So you're going to want to track those patterns, and then you're going to want to do it week over week so you can see, hey, on week 1, here was your stress patterns. You were really stressful on a Monday, right? But as the week went through, you actually were doing really good. What's going on over the weekend or on Mondays that's leaving you so stressed? So you're going to address the root and not just the fruit. You're going to address the cause and not just the symptom, okay? You're not just going to address the symptom. You're going to figure out, you're going to put your trainer hat on, and you're going to figure out what is causing them to be consistently stressed every Monday. But if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And if you can't measure it, you can't move it. So you have to be able to measure it over time to see a pattern of consistency or inconsistency, to know what strategies to put in place. The other thing is, it's really cool when you turn this around and you give this to the client and they see from a credibility standpoint that you've been tracking and measuring that over time and that they have been getting better. And because their stress level was high and because you did some things that made it now lower, the scale has now started to move. Team, that's how you improve trust. Otherwise, they just say, oh, I guess I'm just having a good day. Maybe it's that new Weight Watchers program I'm doing, right? Or whatever they say. But if you don't track it and measure it, you can't really validate it. It's all theoretical. It's all opinion, right? So where the rubber meets the road is being able to show them the work that you've done together and now the results that they weren't able to get on their own that now you can get with them. That has a huge impact on your level of credibility and trust for them, okay? All right. So I want to cover these 3 things real quick, and then we're going to open it up for questions. Again, if you're typing in questions in the question box, I will try to field those as much as I can today. And again, it'll be first come, first serve. So we're going to use the DRO as a lead generation magnet. Ding, ding, ding. So if you're on social media, Instagram, one of the smartest things you could do is you could take one of the graphics from PTAG Global, Facebook, and you can literally just copy those, right? You can share them, right, on your own feed or on your own Instagram page, and just say, hey, just went through an amazing course, right? Just went through an amazing credential, exercise and stress management credential, that now I am, right, credentialed, right, in exercise and stress management. Where is your score? 3 to 9? Come and find out. That would be a really smart way to like copy and market. Or maybe you just put an image, right, which I'll show you here in a couple slides, of score of 3, score of 4 to 6, and score of 7 to 9, and what that means. And again, you can find that graphic on our Facebook page as well. So again, if you're not part of our Facebook community, join that Facebook page. We're putting stuff out like this all the time. But again, you could share that and say, hey, get in the green or get a score of 3, you know, DM me for details and find out. Maybe that's how you're driving your business, to have something as a what we call a lead magnet, something to attract customers to your brand, and why I would even want to have the conversation with you, right? So now it's become a marketing vehicle for you in orientation. Ding, ding, ding. So a lot of you kind of like business, you put your business hat on, you're like, holy cow, right? You're already typing. You're like, okay, I got this, I got this. You're already excited. Presenting alternatives that might be safer in their mind, okay? So again, giving them viable options, because they're used to just training with you one-on-one, and now times have changed a little bit. We need to be able to present some viable options, whether it's outdoor, whether it's virtual sessions, whether it's, you know, meeting them at their house and one-on-one social distance. Again, I don't know, right? But provide some safer alternatives. And so you're going to have to be able to feel that out with them, feel what they're comfortable doing, but still being able to do something to get results and finding a way to monetize that. All right, it's not just, hey, we're just going to give you a bunch of free stuff during this time, because that's not really going to help drive your business. It may help mitigate the impact, right, of losing a client, but for how long? All right, and so again, find a way to deepen the connection. And then the last thing is the talking points. Many trainers, as I have had these, we've done a lot of different workshops. We just did another solutions and selling virtual workshop today. Shout out to Club True Fit, who just completed their 2nd day of our virtual solutions and selling workshop. We get a lot of questions around how to overcome the fear objection, right? What's the process and how to do that? So I want to walk you through here is the 5 steps to overcome the fear objection, because it's a real objection, but there is a real way to overcome this and not make people feel negative or like you're putting them in a headlock trying to get them back into exercise. This content is covered both in our solutions and selling virtual and live workshops, as well as our fast track course. You can find this, something very similar there. It starts with understanding the brain. It starts with understanding the brain. If you don't understand what happens when someone gets very fearful and has a lack of safety, right, then everything else kind of gets a little more challenging, right? So let's just talk about 2 specific aspects here. One is we want to understand not only what we say, but how we say it. Our delivery, our empathy is so incredibly important, and it starts with empathy, right? And all of those thoughts and emotions, those things resonate in what's called the limbic system of the brain, which is our emotional brain, okay? A word there, you can say it 5 times fast, is amygdala. Amygdala is located in that limbic system of the brain, and basically assesses threat, right? It's fight or flight. And so I'm in a stress state. I don't want to exercise, and I'm fearful about what's going to happen tomorrow. And now you approach me and asking me to do more and things that are extra that I don't feel confident doing, then you are going to upregulate amygdala. Well, what happens with that is whenever we are not empathetic and conscious and cautious of someone's safety, right, i.e. trust, is the front part of the brain, the frontal lobe, specifically the ventral medial prefrontal cortex, okay? That decisional brain, it shuts down, right? Guys, you ever said something that you didn't really mean to a spouse or a significant other in the heat of the moment? You're really hot-headed and you say something, okay, that's your emotional brain being turned on, and all of a sudden your front brain just got stupid. And you said something, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. That same thing takes place. But when we want people to make a decision, it's not really good that they're in a heightened anxiety state. We want them to be in a safe, right, fun, kind of happy, healthy, good state of mind, thus being able to make a good decision. I'm going to show you how we can do that very quickly. So we're going to take our 5 steps to overcome the objection. So as you can see this on your screen, you're going to see this agree and empathize. Okay, so again, it starts with empathy. I'm going to agree with whatever they say. I'm going to agree. So I don't think I can get outside right now because I'm just too busy. Hey, I totally understand. And I agree completely. Right now, we got to be very careful about what we're doing, Mrs. Jones. Right? But, and there's no but, then I'm just going to isolate. Right? Then I'm going to go to the next step in isolation of figuring out A or B, which is the biggest concern. Is it catching COVID, or is it just maybe your lack of motivation? Which of those is maybe holding you back from today? All right? And then I'm going to affirm. I'm going to ask some yes-based questions, but we would agree that regardless of COVID or not, you're going to have these goals in front of you, correct? Yes. And we know you've made such amazing progress, right? Yes. And we don't want to go backwards on that progress, right? Because you've invested time and money and all these things to get where you're at, correct? Yes. So now we get some affirmation statements in there, which help the person to clarify, isolate, affirm, get more of a yes-based mindset. So think about our trans-theoretical model. Again, you can find that in our behavior change and exercise course. Now we're going to present alternatives that are safe alternatives, right, that definitely map to CDC guidelines, but are also safe and realistic in our client's mind. So that way we need to have 2 to 3 options. Maybe it's virtual training, maybe it's an outdoor workout training, maybe it's one-on-one training, you know, at their house or in a park or something like that, where you're still staying safe, but you're also getting them to continue to move forward and not taking steps back in their fitness. The last thing is you're going to gain commitment. You're always going to gain commitment. You're not just going to leave it as hey, well, we could do virtual or park workouts. Just let me know. No. You're going to close the commitment and close the conversation. Okay, so you know, which of those alternatives makes the most sense for you, Mrs. Jones? You know, I'd like to do virtual. I just never done that before, so I don't even know what that entails. Hey, no worries. I have so many of my clients that have felt the exact same way. Right? What we found is a lot of times it's overwhelming just because we haven't done it yet. So what I'd like to do, if you're okay with it, is we just do a kind of a 10 to 15 minute tutorial session just to get comfortable with what it looks and feels like, and then from there we can kind of figure out what might be the best avenue for you. Would you be okay with at least just kind of a quick little 10 to 15 minute tutorial? Awesome. And I'd also, during that time, I'd also like to get your stress score, because I've got some new learnings in something that's called a daily readiness observation that'll allow us to support your immune system and continue your results right now, because it's a really stressful time and we know that stress impacts immunity. Would it be okay if we cover that during the time as well? Fantastic, right? So would a Tuesday or Thursday work better for you this next week? Tuesday? Okay, what about an AM or PM? AM before the kiddos get up? I hear you, because they're homeschooled now and they're going crazy and we just want to duct tape them to the wall, right? I feel you. So an AM, are you thinking closer to like 6 a.m. or maybe 8 a.m.? 6 too early? Okay, so 7 on Tuesday. Okay, so 7 o'clock on Tuesday works. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and put you in my schedule. I'll send you a reminder ahead of time, and then we'll cover that DRO. We'll get you a little bit more comfortable with virtual training, and then really being able to dive deep into some of the goals that I know you have ahead. Sound good? Awesome, right? Team, we have to be able to find a way to take this script that you see here and expand upon this. Take it and make it your own. If you try to read from it verbatim the first time, it's going to sound robotic. So you're going to need to practice it, right? You're going to need to get the reps underneath you, get your sea legs back. Okay, we've been out of the club for a month, so many of us maybe are a little rusty on some of these things. Okay, so you're going to need to rep it out, right? Swing the big stick. Okay, all right. So you are the expert now. You are the expert. You have tools in your tool belt that you did not have before this webinar. What are you going to do with them? It's not about what you learned, it's about what you're going to do with what you learned, right? Anatole France said, intention without action is meaningless. You can have all the intent in the world of, I really want to help people, but if you don't do something, right? The movers and shakers are the ones that will take opportunity and seize it. Carpe diem, right? They will seize the day to day because there's so much opportunity, because people are sicker than ever, they're more stressed than ever, and they are looking for ways to get well. Ding, 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 that means you, right? Insert you in their life, where more often than not, they didn't feel like they really had a problem and they didn't really feel super stressed and, you know, who knows what. Now they're looking for ways to to do something, man. They're eating more than ever. They're out of control, and they need your accountability. They need your guidance. So again, this graphic on the screen that you see here can be something as simple as taking this from our PTA Global Facebook page. You share it. You say, hey, just attended this great webinar. Let me know if you want to get in the green. Mic drop, right? Let me know, and I can help you to figure out if your stress score is, a 3 to a 9. Find out where you are today. DM me for details. Mic drop. You talk about driving business. There is so much opportunity out there, team, to drive business and drive people to you, and all for good reasons, not just for making a buck, but to be able to impact the lives of people through fitness right now. And you have more tools in your tool belt than you ever have. So with that, I want to give you some next steps, and I'm going to open it up for some Q&A. I can, hopefully you guys can tell I'm pretty fired up because I had an amazing solutions and selling course today. This is not pre-workout. This is .fit aminos. So this is real deal. Don't get me on some pre-workout or coffee. This is me just being so passionate about the opportunity that we have in front of us right now as an industry, and the way that we are just going to freaking rock this industry. For those of you that are on the call, right now, you're already making that first step, because it starts with you, because you can't give stuff that you don't have. So you've invested in yourself. You've invested in your health, right? The health of your mind, the health of your skill set. You've just learned a new trade, right, that you can do amazing things with, right? So some next steps here. You're going to have some steps to enrollment for your ESM course. Those are going to be attached to the email for your invite today. So you should already have those. You're going to have an email follow-up. You're going to have a cool little code there from our partners at .fit. You're also going to have a cool little code from Trainerize, one of our partners for online virtual training. So definitely check out that email. Some great things coming your way. And then also you'll get that promo code for our ESM. You'll need to complete that ESM course. Again, it's a 10-hour course in order to get your CECs. This webinar does not have any CECs. It is the free course that comes after this. So just to clarify there. And then definitely follow us. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on LinkedIn. Follow us on Instagram. We are posting things every single day to pour in and empower this industry right now, because we got a lot of trainers that need a home. We got a lot of trainers that need help and are looking for answers. And candidly, you have the fastest opportunity right now to leverage the strongest relationship, which is you and your client, if you use the right tools, right? If you're a first mover on this. But if you're waiting for your stimulus checks to come in and gyms to reopen, and you're just going to say, hey, I'm just going to catch up on, Tiger King or 8 seasons of Office, and then when the gyms reopen, then we'll just go back to kind of business as usual, you will be left behind. You will be left in the dust, because there are people that are going to work harder, work smarter, are going to grind this thing out, and they will be the ones that take action and take hold of this industry, and it's changing. So it's going to be amazing things ahead, and it starts with you. It starts with your ability to apply these things. So hopefully today's content has not only been empowering for you, has not just been educational for you, but maybe it's been a little entertaining for you, right? To hear me and hear some of my bad dad jokes. Again, if you like some of this content, this is what we bring home, because education without fun, education, I think it was Martin Rooney, Training for Warriors, that said, if it's too serious, it's not fun. But if it's too fun, nobody takes you seriously. So you got to have that sweet spot, man. You got to have that sweet spot in a way to engage and have fun in working out, because fun attracts people. But slide in that education, slide in those little nuggets of gold. So hopefully you'll be able to do this, whether it's for you and your clients or you and your team. But what I want to do is I want to pause there, and I want to open it up for some questions. Let's see what kind of came through today. When is the proper time to use the DRO? Before session. Thank you, Mohammed. Mohammed, when is the proper time to use the DRO? Before session. Hopefully I answered that through the duration of it. How can we get a copy of the PowerPoint presentation? I'm not going to send the entire PowerPoint presentation out, but what I can do is, again, I will put this video. There's another one next Friday. So you can tune into that, get your entire team to tune into that. And then what I'll do is, after that, is I'm going to memorialize this on our PTA Global website under events. And so then you can basically go back through this, and you can look through it all you want on that PDF, because we'll memorialize the webinar. So hopefully that helps your question there, Lindsay. Jessica, where can I find the scripts? Again, they're going to be in this presentation, but if you email me specifically, I'll share my contact after this, Jess. If you email me specifically, I'm happy to share that script with you. How do you get new clients during the difficult time? So hopefully we were able to answer some of those questions here, but again, you're going to leverage the DRO. You're going to market it as a score of 3 to 9 and how to meet with you to get that score. So hopefully that helps you there. Sly Stemley, awesome brother. Good to see you, my brother in Christ there on the call. How often can we use DRO with a client in a month? Use it every session, Sid. Use it every session, brother, because that's the only way that you're going to get that pattern. What's your email? I'll share it to you in a second here after our Q&A. I love it. A lot of love for you guys. A lot of love coming through in the chat. Thank you so much. Very gracious with your words. So team, I'll tell you, this is a time for community. It's a time that iron sharpens iron, just as one man sharpens another. And this is an amazing time to come together. And you already see it in the industry. You see things that, you know, competition is really not even in people's vocabulary right now. It's about help and support and diversification. How do I diversify the way that I add value and meet my client where they need to be met? And so that's going to be really the language today. Wonderful, made the best part of my day. Thank you, Hassani. So appreciative of you. Thank you for tuning in today. So team, I'm going to share the last slide again. I'll try to field these questions as they continue to come through. Kenyan working in Qatar as a personal trainer. Thank you so much. We've got people from all around the world. This is such an amazing thing when I think about what we do and the purpose that we serve at PTA Global. Our reach is infinite. It's really, really a privilege to be able to drive this amazing content home. All right, so team, I'll share the last slide here just so you know where to find us. Again, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. My email is up there, Israel Allen, Director of Education for PTA Global. Feel free to email me, you know, if you want those, the overcoming objections slide, you know, and then if you're an owner and operator on the call today, reach out to Karin Perlmutter, because she's actually the one that helps with our club partnerships to help provide individualized virtual workshops to a team, webinars, all kinds of things that will allow, you know, an owner and operator to keep their team engaged during this time, which is so important, because when we come out of this, team, when we come out of this hole in COVID, there's going to be a lot of free agents out there. There's going to be a lot of people that said, what did my leadership do for me during this time? Did they invest in me? Did they support me? Right? And so the ones that do, the club owners and operators that are providing this content, that are allowing us to go out and touch the hearts and minds of their trainers, those trainers are going to be loyal. The ones that do nothing, man, it's going to be tough, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity to look at the grasses of, you know, greener. And so again, if you are a club or owner and you've got a team underneath you, reach out to Karin Perlmutter, who can help set up those club partnerships and Performance Suite and provide some resources for your team. So with that, team, again, you guys are the soldiers on the battlefield of health and wellness. Go out and serve well. Go out and fight the fight. That is not only COVID-19, but really stress and the impact that has on immune function and results. And again, serve well, apply where needed, and hopefully enjoy today's time. If you didn't get a chance to join today, join us next Friday, and we're going to run a similar version of today's content that we did. Talk to you soon.